either live by the gun or you die by the sword.
And we're back with kind of revenge again in the sequel to Lady Snowblood, Lady Snowblood 2, Love Song of Vengeance.
Great movie, lightest revenge story ever.
Yes. Welcome to the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast. I'm Nico.
And I'm Chris.
And as you've probably guessed it from our last review, we did Lady Snowblood, so we figured it'd be the best time to do Lady Snowblood 2, even though I will have a lot of issues with this movie.
Okay. Yeah, I can see why. Won't lie.
Yeah, there's a lot that I want to like about Lady Snowblood 2, but there's a lot that it has going against it.
Yeah,
partially because while it's again based on the characters from the manga by Kazuo Kamimura and Kozuo Koike, it's written by Koihide Ohara and Nori Osada, and directed by Toshiya Fujita. Again, a lot of people coming back. It's starring Meiko Kaji.
Again, yep. Great job.
Juzo Itami as Ransui Tokunaka.
Mm-hmm.
Kazuo Yoshiyuki as Aya Tokunaga. And it originally wasn't supposed to have a sequel. And
no.
Part of the reason that is Koike said no, but the rest of them were like, well, what if we did something a little bit different?
Yeah, what if?
Yeah. It's,
Yeah. So, in the first one, we talked a lot about how the details and the nuances of the story and plot were really what made that movie special.
Uh-huh.
There was detail not only in the imagery and the storytelling, but details in the plot and character development that really just kind of elevated the whole piece. This one said, hey, what if we only looked at the details and ignored the main plot points, actually?
And not even that. Because, like, at least I like the start of it, because
sure,
it's her going through the motions. I mean, lost without the goals of vengeance. It works really well.
Yeah.
And it does a good enough job advancing Japan through its modernization and the other imperial nations it's trying to intimidate. And it's a decent enough start of the old ways versus news, and this is what exactly Osada was going for. He wanted the second movie to be a more exploration of modernization versus traditional Japan.
Yeah, and I do think they did that. It's a little in your face in this movie, but it's there.
No, exactly. That's kind of where my issues with this kind of begins, because well, don't get me wrong, I do think that the killing is no longer noble, but she's a wild animal rather than the art of killing from the first one, at least in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I like that bit of destiny to return to the jail of her birth, but that's where it starts really falling apart for me, because while she's forced back into the life, I appreciate that it kind of follows the path of other outlaw movies like Outlaw Gangster VIP and other kind of Yakuza-ish movies. The issue is that while it's titled Lady Snowblood, it has the same issues that I had with Sleeping Beauty, where she becomes very much the side character in a movie that's supposed to be based around her. Yeah,
okay. I think we have similar complaints.
Okay.
My complaint is, while I do like the story in this movie, and I do think there's some improvements overall in this movie. The camera work is better. The color balancing is better. You know, from a development standpoint, there was a little bit more attention to detail done.
Yeah, from the technical standpoint, it's at times a better shot movie.
It is. The thing that makes this movie a Lady Snowblood movie is unfortunately missing.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the revenge story portion. Because, yes, we have the same character, you're right, there is this kind of nice symbolism of her returning to the jail of her birth, having to fight and conquer a world that is moving farther and farther away from the traditions that made her who she is. But that's the thing. Those were the nice details of the first movie. Those were not the main point of the first movie.
Yeah, no, exactly. And it's that very heavy-handedness, instead of letting, like, the little bit of symbolism, if you miss it, of, like, the guy, the last villain falling down and pulling the Japanese flag along with him, with as modernization pulling down traditional Japan.
Yeah.
That the movie just becomes so heavy-handed that it's just, I kind of get a little bit annoyed with it, where a lot of it feels very manufactured in its approach to bring her into the story and really make, okay, this new government and the new police force is wrong against what they're doing, and it's just like, I get her trying to recreate her again as this vengeful person of the people, but
Sure.
she's barely in it to get to know the people. She's just kind of an observer around all of the events happening between the two brothers and the main villain.
And here's the real, here's the real catch for me when it comes to movies, especially movies in the same kind of world that Lady Snowblood exists movie-wise, is, does this movie make sense if the main character was literally anyone else?
Yes.
And in this case, it does. This could have been any character. Truthfully, yes, it's kind of nice and there is some symbolism and that it does tie a little bit to the first one, but honestly, this could have been any killer. This could have been even just a vengeful woman. Like, this could have just been a scorned person. Like, the fighting that is needed to finish this movie really doesn't have to be the skill level even that we, know that our character, Lady Snowblood, is capable of. Because the end movie brings guns back into the play. And then they solve that by just having the gun guy be held and then run out of bullets. I'm sorry, we didn't need the sword play that Snowblood has to accomplish the goal.
Yeah, no, exactly. It could have been anyone else. And that's the thing, she doesn't really even have time to shine. Most of the time is just her running away and hiding from everything while all the drama takes place around them. And even then, the drama that should be interesting is, if you're going to bring her back and give her a redemption arc, give her at least a likable love interest. Because
I hate her love interests.
Yeah.
And I will say plural, because it's kind of implied that there's a weird love square happening in this movie.
It's both the brothers mostly. And
yes.
That's the thing, is neither of them are likable.
No,
the
they're
anarchist,
both terrible.
Yeah, the anarchist one is okay, well, he's the one who's gonna corrupt her, of stray from the path of being a hired killer for the government because reasons.
Okay, but then here's the other thing that made no sense, is right from the get-go, she's a hired killer for the government via coercion.
Yeah.
And I get that they're trying to use the via coercion to carry a lot of weight here. This is Lady Snowblood. The only person that she ever seems to have ever listened to was her mother's wishes for her to become a vengeful spirit.
Exactly.
It does not make sense. This character makes no real logic within her own world. And not only does she make no logic, is we've introduced a interesting 3 new characters. We have our bad guy and we have our 2 brothers. The brothers' interaction, it takes them so long to build up and explain their family dynamic, and then it gets muddy between her and the wife of one of the brothers. Because again, weird love square happening, because everyone loves each other in this weird, why is this a thing? So then we muddy all of these relationships, we confuse the audience with who's who, where's what, why do we love and touch and not hate, and all of this, for them to try and wrap it up very quickly at the end.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is because not only do we barely get to see her do anything, part of the movie is she isn't even the avenger of the slums. The slums take the justice into their own hands,
which is arguably more interesting.
Yeah, and the shitty thing is that's why when I talk about some parts of it feel forced, it's that plague portion where they're just oh, we're gonna blame a plague, and so we had to kill all these people for the greater good. Because here's the thing of why I get what he was trying to go for.
I do too.
With trying to make this imperial versus, or traditional Japan versus modernization. The issue is the original Lady Snowblood has, even though it's very light on telling you about the history, it has that history as its grounding, whereas this is just complete don't get me wrong, the first one is historical fiction.
Yes, but this one's heavily handed.
Yes, very much so, to the point where it's I don't believe that they would just kill these people for no real reason other than oh no, they've been infected by the anarchistic ideals and they're gonna have an uprising again. It's like they don't have that grounding of anything to make it interesting.
And the first one, you didn't need to know the history of Japan and the time period to appreciate and get all of the information you needed. It was enhanced by knowing that, for sure. But you didn't need to. And the part that really made a difference, the movie took a breath to tell you about. This one does not bother to tell you the actual history that is implied here. The character, Ranchui, he's supposed to be based off of a real anarchist from the time period. Shirushi, I think is how you say his last name. But they don't tell you anything about this real life person. And when I look up his influence and works, none of the movie matches with his real life in any way. It just seems to be very loosely and vaguely based off of this historical character.
Just because you need someone that's going against the authoritarian system.
Which is such a strange, why are we trying so hard to tie this so heavily into the real world when a lot of these movies that do well are lightly based in a time period, but they're so fiction and so fanciful that they end up with 20 movies. This one's really doing a lot of shooting itself in the foot here from movie number 2.
Oh, very much so. Oh, also you probably recognize the love interest,
I do.
Ransui. He's his actor Atami is the writer and director of Tampopo.
I did look that up. Do like that. That is a fun thing. And that's the last complaint is the brothers are confusing, but if the movie spends enough time that eventually you kind of get your head wrapped around them, neither one of them are likable, but I guess you could look past it eventually. But the bad guy in this movie is so cartoon villain coded.
Not even that. I think he just feels very generic authoritarian because he's just he shows up every now and then of you need to go in and do this. Oh yes. No, she's rebelled against us. Oh no, now we have to kill an entire town. It's just there's
so silly.
Yeah, there's no real relationship between this villain, Lady Snowblood, or the anarchist or the other protagonist. It's just they happen to be kind of thrown in together after the first love interest dies.
Yes, which is the silliest part, to be true.
Oh man, yeah, just that. Oh, he's leaving town. We have to ambush all of them, and it's
And here's my last really big true complaint about the movie. I have more complaints, but they're silly complaints. My last big complaint about the movie is something that I really liked about the first Lady Snowblood movie. Was it was clear that she was a master at her sword craft. Not really a sword, more like a dagger, but Bilbo Baggins sized sword, whatever.
Yeah.
So it was clear that she was far superior than the average person, or even average thug, or even average trained person. Truly a skilled warrior. This movie wants more fun action. We see this a lot, especially when the 70s and 80s, especially with a foreign film like Japan. The longer the fight scene, the cooler, the more action you get. We can do some cool stuff with camera work. They start playing with that, and it unfortunately turns her less skilled, because now the average police guy is as good as Lady Snowblood.
At least in the beginning, she feels dangerous because it takes so many to take her down.
Yes.
And even then, while they're taking her down, those killings she's doing don't feel justified at all. It's okay, no, you are an absolute horrible person at this point. And that's the thing is she doesn't even have a redemption arc. There's not even anything to build her up. She's just this side character. And that's the thing is I've seen other movies that do something similar, like the Shinobi movie franchise.
Yes, exactly.
Still have to see the last 3, but in the first 3, you have him build up, and then it's okay, now he has something to fight against because now he has a family. He's pulled back into the fray.
Exactly.
Snowblood has none of that. Even the movie I watched last night, Tattooed Life, was a single movie, but also similar plots of 2 Yakuza guys who are supposed to take the fall, but they end up killing their fellow members. And then it's just this buildup of drama around them, but you get that vested interest in them, and then that long fight scene, not even a really long fight scene, but it's got a really cool sequence fight at the end. They don't really have that. I mean, don't get me wrong, the end fight of this movie is cool,
But it's not Lady Snowblood.
Yeah, it's heartless is what it feels like, because she's just taking revenge because, all the carnage that this evil police force has done to the city. And it's just like, I really don't care. Like, maybe it's supposed to roughly symbolize them following the same trajectory of what the Americans would do of firebombing the slums and stuff, but it's
weak.
Yeah,
it's a weak comparison. And now on to my nitpicky critiques.
Okay.
Because I'm not out of critiques. Those were just my main ones. So something that I loved, and we talked extensively about in the first one, was the costuming and detail design of the characters.
Oh my god, I was so bored with her outfits in this one because
they're so generic. They're like pulled off the back racks from some other movie. They don't tie to her in any way.
Yeah, she's got two costumes. She's got the main kimono she wears, and then she's got that, I don't know what type of clothing is that, purple bluish thing that she wears that covers
She's
her.
got a scarf. She has 3 outfits.
Okay.
There's one more kimono at the very end. It's all black. It's the most obvious symbolism possible, but it's not even good symbolism. In the first one, there's that tying of her to the color blue and the iciness of that, tying her back to the ocean with all of the patterns and coloring. They make sure that she is always pristinely and beautifully shown, her hair and makeup always done, even when she's traversing the countryside, in her tiny, tiny shoes and her big-ass umbrella. The umbrella is missing in this movie.
Yep.
Entirely gone. That was a key feature of her character. The coloring in the kimonos have changed. We no longer have a regular color pattern. We go from a weird brown to a blue stripedy. There's a purple thing that you mentioned. And then the last one is supposed to be the only one, I think, that is supposed to be symbolic. It's all black. It's a weak symbolism.
Well, here's the thing is, I would probably have been okay with that color change if they had tied it into her story of, like, if she, after all this, like, we had those couple inklings of longing of what she could have potentially wanted with a normal life. She's not even given a hint of, not even a breath or a chance at, okay, she snuck away and now she's living life in some remote area. Yeah,
not even close. She's the side piece to a dude for a half a second. Kind of develops feelings for him. Then she remembers his brother's kind of hot. And then, like, we just kill everyone. And that's it. That's the whole love triangle. Boring. The other thing that, like, is so weak is we spent a lot of time trying to tie her to a delicate sense of death, a more feminine style in killing. The first movie takes the whole movie to really hammer that home. This movie removes all of that symbolism from her and then adds this overly masculine symbolism to kind of, like, overly correct for the main bad guy. He's shown with a lot of bright reds, imperial style, a lot of hard marbles, and the worst taxidermied tiger on this planet. Good God. That thing must have been $4 and some pennies because it looks terrible. It's meant to be a full-size tiger. It looks like garbage.
I bet.
But it was meant to, like, tie in this, like, big, powerful symbolism to him, but it's A, a shitty-looking tiger, and B, it's not balanced by her symbolism in any way.
No.
So it, instead of becoming this, like, balancing act between the bad guys and Lady Snowblood, it's just now a manly movie. Whereas the first one was such a feminine-based movie.
Well, and I think that goes back to Koike and his writing of, like, he was tired of writing those male assassins, and so that's why he went into Lady Snowblood, and I think that's what makes it so unique is, even though it's a male writer, and I know some people might complain of, oh, guys write women all the same, the way he talks about it, he has that sensibility of, like, yeah, I could have made her a sex icon, but no, she's going to use that as her weaponry. Like, all these little things he added to make her nuanced and interesting, because he specifically put everything into, like, okay, well, she's beautiful on the outside, but ugly on the inside. We don't get any of that in this movie at all. She's just... She's not even... I can't even say she's ugly on the inside on this one, because she's just...
hollow.
Yes.
So hollow.
And see, they could have done something even cool with that too, of, like, she could have moved on with her life, but she could have still been hollow inside too, and still made an interesting character
and they just left it.
Instead of turning her into a puppet.
Yes.
That's exactly what she becomes in this movie. She becomes a puppet of a politically motivated story that doesn't really even tie into her.
And then it doesn't even turn into her breaking that puppetry. She just changes puppet masters. It's not the best symbolism, especially for a movie that was meant to be fully symbolic.
Yeah, and that's a great thing, is like she doesn't have that. It's not autonomy, she doesn't have any drive or motivation, anything that gives her something to keep moving forward other than she just has to be there because she's the main character.
The other thing that this movie changes dramatically from the first one is this one is told in a standard linear storytelling.
Oh,
common for a sequel, but boring.
Yeah, it got rid of every single thing that, even while they were weird at times, made the first Lady Snowblood so stylistic. And you know what? I get why they did that, because if you're going to create a sequel and you don't have the original source material, you're making it all your own.
Sure.
You have to create your own like style for it, and like something that's repeatable in case you have another director take place, another writer. I mean, look at like I get like this is the end of the serial film series for Japan for the most part in this era, but like at least give us something interesting. At least Zatoichi. Even in the later movies, while there are a lot that have very similarities, I mean, he always comes to town. There's a woman. There's a love interest. He can't have that. My favorite Zatoichi movies in the later series become the ones where, like, for specifically Zatoichi and the Chess Master, where it's him finding a potential friend, but they're forced to go against each other. Yes. And where it's like, it's that companionship that Zatoichi builds along that long road of loneliness, where like one movie he'll have like a companion, a little kid that follows him to the next movie. And then after that, that's over. So it's this constantly like building up expectations of, oh, will he have something? And that's exactly what it is in this one. In Lady Snowblood, there is nothing that gives her hope or any motivation for any type of future. It's just she's there in the moment.
And in this one, they hint at the whole legend of Lady Snowblood and how the first one spent all that time really building her into this urban myth, the protector of... the
Asura of the people.
Exactly. And while they definitely play on that theme, they do so without really invoking any legendary status from her, whether that be, oh, they don't know it's her and they're kind of playing with the idea of like the character in the movie or having her actually fulfill that role. There's none of that. They just kind of assume that you're watching this one because you watched the first one, and thus you kind of know that she's got that behind her.
Again, trying to recreate the magic of the serial series of, oh, we had one great character and people are going to come. If you show them in it, they'll come. Because, I mean, that's the thing is Mako Kaji does have that star ability. Yes. She has the Stray Cat Rock franchise. She has the Female Prisoner Scorpion franchise. Like, those are all serial movies. Well, granted, Stray Cat Rock isn't serial, but it has it was enough for people to come back. Oh, she's back in this one.
She definitely has the name pulling power to get people to come to the movies and see it. And I mean, hell,
she has the name pulling power today. So tell me she's in it, and I'll give it a watch.
Oh, absolutely. And truthfully, I get why they changed the writing format of having it all be linear. Like you said, it makes sense if you're just going to constantly be passing this project off to the next person. But how much more interesting would it be to not know where we are in time with the love triangle and the bad guy and whose side she's on, a double cross sort of situation? That would have been so much more in line with what we're used to seeing or expect to see with a Lady Snowblood film. And instead it's pretty straightforward of, oh, we like this guy. Well, now we like this guy. And now we kind of like this guy. Oh, everybody's got the plague.
Yeah.
And the plague portion, I have a lot of complaints about the plague portion, because the way that historically the plague and this movie could have handled this could have been done really well. It's a topic that doesn't really get brought up in this era of movies a lot, but in historics would have been something to consider adding to your movies and to your books. It is an interesting portion of like, well, now we've we've killed off 2 characters very quickly, and one's going to die very slowly, painfully. This is a good plot device, and yet we use it in the dumbest way possible, and we have the plague happen the fastest the plague has ever spread.
Well, because it doesn't make sense. That it doesn't make sense in the world that, like, okay, well, there's people who are probably going to survive, and they're going to tell that, hey, there wasn't a plague here. Like, it just is a lame excuse for them to be like, okay, now we have to force the final confrontation between the two, and this is what makes her an avenger of the people. At least, here's the thing. I've seen other franchises pivot hard and do the same kind of thing, like be the avenger of the people. Like, look at Gamera, for example. The protector of children. First one, heavily a Godzilla ripoff. Send to space because it's space's problem now. Now he comes back and he protects the children for no reason whatsoever. But
it works.
And it works so well, especially in the Heisei era reboots. He's so awesome in those movies, and they work the protector of the children in so much better than like, oh, he's suddenly this. That's the thing, is they don't build up that, oh, she's the protector of the people. They could have added like even like smaller chapters ahead of it of like, okay, here's a couple other things of her protecting the people.
And then the who we're protecting the people from is where we lose a huge plot point. Because in the first one, we are protecting the people from this new version of Japan that it's becoming. It's subtly done with costuming and explaining the time period and a few of the backstories for people, but it's clear that that's where her focus not necessarily lies, but unintentionally represents, right? And in this one, they could have played the very, like, they didn't even need to explain it a whole lot. They could have just slipped a little bit in and be like, oh, the plague, we got that from the West. We've been slowly using it to, like, control our own people. Like, really bad guy it up. If we're going to have a goofy bad guy, bring on the goofiness.
Exactly.
Bring on the evil.
And I think the thing is, we want her to be more of, like, I guess, a Robin Hood folk hero character. And
she doesn't do anything.
Exactly.
She doesn't do anything, because even if that was all happening and she still did nothing, then it would feel like, well, it's because she's not the legend they've built her into. She's just this sad person. But instead, she is the legend that they built, supposedly. And also, there is really not a bad guy presence to fight, because the bad guy only is interested in her.
Yeah.
Not really bothering, like, he bothers the people to get to her. That's a terrible, like, sort of building of fame sort of story. But here's the thing.
Okay.
This movie did get me to laugh.
Okay.
Twice.
Right.
Once was for the first time I saw the tiger. Got a good giggle out of that. Because it's a, like, zoom right in on its face. That was hilarious. The second time is towards the end of the movie. She gets shot a lot in this movie, in case anyone's wondering. The first movie, she's almost untouchable. This movie, she is very touchable.
Yeah.
In lots of ways. And there's a scene where she has to flee hurt from a fight, and she jumps off of a bridge. And she jumps off of a bridge like a stiff plank of wood that has been flung over the side. It is the clearest cut to a body double or a stuffed pillow I have seen in years.
Hey, I mean, we just watched the last one where the wind caught the dude on the cliff.
That one was arguably less noticeable because this one, at least that one, there was like a weird cut in the film where you had to sit there and be like, was that artistic? Was I supposed to be understanding something? And like, you weren't. But there's that weird disconnect that kind of distracts you from the fact that that's just bad movie making. This one, she flings herself over in the most ridiculous way because she can't bend her knees properly because she's wearing a tiny little kimono. She's got silly little wooden shoes on. She can't run away properly. But instead of leaning into the fact that, like, she's trained in how to wear and move in this, she just kind of, like, picks herself up and throws herself off of the railing.
That's how skilled her calves are in launching her.
It was the dumbest thing. And at least for the rest of this movie, it takes itself very seriously. Like I said, it does try to fix a lot of the editing problems the first one had. We fix a lot of the cutting issues or camera work that the first one had issues with, which were noticeable but not detrimental. This one fixes it. But unfortunately, because they fixed it, these stand up really hard now. Which
I think just goes to show is you can shoot something well, but if your story doesn't connect with anyone or you haven't crafted something special, then it's just kind of generic.
It was, unfortunately, generic.
Yeah, generic fluff against authoritarians.
Yeah, generic is a good word for this movie, unfortunately.
Yeah. So then, Chris, rent by streamer declined that we ever watched Lady Snowblood 2, a love song of vengeance, despite having an audio record of us watching it.
I would stream this. I know it comes as the 2-part collection for the Criterion. So if you're going to buy the first one and it comes with it, sure. But I wouldn't go out of my way to pay money for this again. But I would watch it again. It's just not a good Lady Snowblood movie. But it is a fun movie. I had fun with it.
Yeah, I definitely agree stream just to see where they kind of faltered in making a sequel. And just as maybe more of a learning point. But honestly, if I'm going to go from Lady Snowblood, I'm going to watch pretty much anything else I've seen Kaji in. Yeah,
and I mean, I like the main actress, Mako. Probably would just watch a different movie with her in it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Just go watch Female Prisoner Scorpion as a follow-up.
Honestly, yeah. Like, this one's not good. It is fun to watch, so if it's on, I do recommend it. But not as, like, a piece of interesting history for moviegoers to watch.
No, not at all. But that's the end of our tour with Mako Kaji and Japanese Revenge, and it's time to get flashy and jam in as many film references in next week's episode as we can.
Absolutely.
We're not pulling all of them, but oh boy, is there a lot.
Oh yeah, there is.
But I'm looking forward to it. I like this female revenge saga we're following.
I figured you would.
Oh, 100%. But anywho, this has been the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast.
Thanks for listening.
Peace. Thank you for stopping by this here town of the good, the bad, and the weird. We appreciate your listenership, and if you want more of our takes in your life, feel free to check us out on social media at The Good, the Bad, and the Weird Podcast, or TGTBTW for short. As well, if we missed a fact, your favorite part of a movie, or just have a suggestion and want to reach out and say howdy, feel free to email us at tgtbtwpodcast@gmail.com. And feel free to join our Discord at The Good, the Bad, and the Weird Podcast, where we talk about movies, just share random banter here and there. And always, check out our podcasters, streamers, or any other content creator we shout out in our episodes. We really appreciate it. And as always, thank you for listening. Peace!